No, I actually turned back and I was like,
what does that even mean?
Hey, Fit Fam. So, today we're talking about your wellness journey, but we're doing in grace for our wellness journey. So, essentially, we're saying have grace during your wellness journey.
Right. So, I guess the topic for discussion is the month of September for us. No, what's before August?
July.
July. So the month of July, okay, the month of June, July. Really, this whole wellness journey, but most importantly, the month of July.
Well, you're making it sound like we didn't do anything.
No, we have.
So the month of July was a month. Let's just catch you up on what happened. The month of July was a month where we were in our weight loss journey, in our wellness journey. We were pretty much I wouldn't say stagnant. I don't want to use the word stagnant. We were really recalibrating ourselves, and our weight didn't necessarily move a lot. However, I think there's times where my visceral fat moved. There was times where I did drop a few pounds, and then it kind of stayed the next weigh in, and so we did that. Our July wasn't like June and May and the following months, the previous months, where it was like, oh, boom.
Yeah, we lost 5 pounds.
Right.
We lost 2 pounds. We lost 6 pounds.
It's that phase in your journey where it's like, you stay, you maintain, which is a gift in itself, but
it's not where you want to be.
Right.
With your goals.
So let's start with this then. How did you feel during that month, and like just a raw, authentic, like how did you necessarily feel just overall?
So I would say during the month of July, I felt myself kind of veering off track. Not as far as exercising, but just nutrition wise, I think that it became a little bit difficult. I don't know, like I just wasn't sticking to the plan. Like I just was kind of doing my own thing, just kind of like, all right, I'll recover, whatever. And so then every time that there was a weigh-in, I was noticing that everything was staying the same. Also, I found myself kind of wrestling with the idea of what exercises I was going to keep in my regimen and what things I was going to kind of do away with. So I started to kind of ponder with this idea of progress over perfection. So initially, I wanted to just get my run on, and I just wanted to keep running. And if it wasn't running, then it didn't count. But it became a thing where there were certain days where, like I had to take Lily with me, and just running full on with her in her jogging stroller was just not a thing. So it was just, I kind of was like, you know what? Just because you don't run 2 miles doesn't mean you don't get an extra 2 miles in. You're still getting the 2 miles in, you just happen to not be running them. So progress over perfection. Also, like, give yourself a break. For me, I felt like I was getting kind of burnt out because I was working out Monday through Sunday. I wasn't taking any breaks. I was just going. And, in my head, it was logical and it was working, but it wasn't something that I could sustain over a lifetime. So I stepped back a little bit and I stopped working out. I took one rest day out of the week.
She was going literally every day.
Yeah, and my body was not recovering properly, and I was starting to feel that. Another thing is, so we'll get more into this later, like when we talk about certain tools that we've really been utilizing. But one of the things that I have struggled with is just overeating. And that's just me being completely transparent, and we can make a separate video about things like that, but I have struggled with that in the past. And just getting into the mindset of your workout or your wellness journey being something that you cannot compartmentalize outside of the different things that you ask God for, and that you pray about. And so July taught me that I needed God more than ever in this journey because I was facing things that had plagued me since I was a child. So, I think it was more so of an awakening. It wasn't for weight loss standards, I didn't lose any weight, but from just getting my mind together, developing healthier habits, that I did.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that. So essentially, I think we both did that last month. It was definitely a month of just refocusing. It was a month. I think for me, it was kind of the opposite in a sense. I think it was a little. I was doing everything just enough. You know, where it's like that. Oh, I did okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you didn't stick to the plan necessarily, but I didn't veer off too much.
Right.
You didn't work out as much as you should, as you were, or you should be.
But you did more than you did before.
So it's like, I got through. I got through. In a sense, it's just like I just coasted through.
Right.
And I was average. I can say my effort was average. It's a hard thing to kind of just internalize and say, you know what, you didn't give it your best.
Yeah. And that's it. Like, I don't know, not cut you off.
No.
Just because one of the things I tend to ask myself, and I also kind of put this back on you all if you're on a wellness journey, is at the end, if you don't get the results that you're looking for, I always ask myself, was there more that you could have done? And if you have just like a little bit of something, like maybe I could have ate cleaner more often, or maybe I could have did the extra mile. If there was something more than you could have done, then you can see that there's room to grow. So
I totally agree. Additionally, let's transition over to how did it look to give yourself grace, like during everything, and like how did grace look for yourself? Like how did it look? Like how did you like forgive yourself for not meeting your goal? Because sometimes we can be hard on ourselves, and I don't know about you guys. I know for me for a fact, like I'm like, come on, you, and sometimes I dwell on it. You didn't do it, but I'm transitioning myself mentally over to the type of person that's like, okay, you didn't get it, don't dwell on it, learn from what you didn't do, go get it.
Right.
And, but how did grace look for you?
I think grace for me came in the form of appreciating my body for what it's done for me up until this point. So you birthed a child, you gained weight, you stopped working out, you're getting back into working out. Like we don't think about the amount of stress that we put our bodies through.
Right.
Gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight. It's stressful. Like biologically, it's a stressful situation. So for me, it was like, appreciate your body, appreciate your legs for allowing you to run, appreciate your lungs for allowing you to breathe, your heart for still ticking. Appreciate those things so that you can, go into the next month realizing that they're doing the best that they can do. It's just about you putting your mindset forward. So for me, it came in the form of appreciation for my body. And allowing myself to understand that although you didn't hit your goal, right now you're working at this is your capacity right now. And your body is pushing it as much as you can handle. So, yeah.
So let me tell you about this mom and my amazing wife. So she was killing it before getting pregnant and everything. She was just running. I mean, the level of running. There was a point in time where I was the one who was like killing it.
He used to be smoking me.
I used to be
His
gone.
legs were gone. Like you used to be running so fast.
I was so much faster.
Remember when I fell?
Yeah.
No, I mean I fell twice.
I remember the time when you fell behind me. I swear. We were running. We had came up the hill. The hard part was done. We already came up the hill. You remember we were already up the hill?
I remember because I was the one who fell.
It came up the second hill, and we were going behind the building. And y'all, it's this place, it's a spot that we always ran this route. I don't know what happened that day. And I was go, and I was feeling it. I was in the mode, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I got this. I'm about to kill
You
this."
used to be a legit runner.
I used to really enjoy running, but I don't know if it was just like a
There
little
was
pothole.
like a pothole, and then I don't know
all
what
I
happened.
heard was like, all I heard.
That's not what you heard. I did not.
I felt
say,
like
I didn't
nah.
do
You definitely. You made some funny noise.
You look, and then he gonna look back at me.
I look back.
You was like,
because I'm like, I was so confused. I was like,
but I was still
remember
on the
doing that
ground.
that's why I was like, what happened? Because we never did that. We had ran that spot at least what? It was more than 20. I feel like it had to be more than 20 times by that point.
That's not factual.
If we go back and look at all those runs, you don't think it was more than 20 times?
No, I don't. But I do remember falling. I did hurt myself. Every
That year?
time I have failed during a run, Steven has never helped me. He's never helped
Because I
me
was
get up.
further ahead of you, and so by the time I got back, you were up.
Anyways,
What was the second one?
When
This is
I
a sidebar
slipped,
story,
when
y'all.
I slipped in the mud over by the park, when we was running by the park, we was running around. It was all that mud right there, and he was running again. He was running ahead of me, and he did this thing like
I jumped over.
No, he like jumped over the puddle. Like I don't know. Like it was like he used to be on some.
And I did like this.
As he was running, if somebody is running and they go,
I actually turned back and I was like,
what does that even mean? What does that even mean?
Yeah, man. Hey, you had some spills. You really went through it.
That one was really embarrassing because it was by the main road.
Dad, that was crazy. Yeah, you had some spills. Dad.
You're not a true runner until you fail.
Sure. Okay. But all right, back off. So, Grace, how does it look? Grace for me.
No, you were talking about me. You were like,
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I'm all
I like
over.
my compliment.
No, so she was killing the runs. Definitely encouraging us to run more. She was like the run account. I saw the transition from where I'm like killing it, and to the point where I had kind of just fell off of running a little bit, and then she was killing it. And then I remember we had went back on another run. I'm like, you see us kind of keeping up and everything. And so I say all that to say that her work ethic, and just I've seen where she was, and I've seen where what pregnancy does to a woman's body. And guys, definitely celebrate your other halves, because it's something I can't even imagine going through, and I don't know what from the miracle I've seen happen, there has to be a recovery time. And I think we put it just like the doctor said 6 weeks, so now you're supposed to be back. And it's like, no, you literally had something inside of you for 8+ months or whatever the case may be. And then the process of birthing, the process of adjusting to motherhood, the process of hormones, and just things just not being the same and trying to adjust, and then going into the process of finding a new norm. Because I don't think you ever go back to where you were. You just go into something new, and at least this is from my perspective, seeing from a male. But and that doesn't mean that the new norm can't be better than the previous before. But I do think that there's I've seen you go through some things, and I know sometimes you kind of on yourself as far as like, man, I'm not getting it like I used to get, and I would love to see you just continue to have grace for yourself in that department.
And that's also something, that's also a fresh revelation that I felt like I stumbled upon last month, because the fact of the matter is, before you gave birth to your child, it was just you. So you picking yourself up and going to the gym,
I didn't even think about that part.
that was easy. Like if you want to go for a run, go for a run. That's no problem. But now you have this little human, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom, and if you want to go for a run, guess what? You got to pack up the baby. You have to, you know, for us, we live on the second floor, so I got to take the stroller down the steps while holding the baby. If I want some water, I tried that one time. I had my cup of water, Lily, stroller, walking down the steps, unpack the stroller, put Lily in, and it's a lot of moving components. And for the average person, I feel like it could be very discouraging, saying like, you know what, I don't feel like doing that today. And there are days that I don't feel like doing it. And when I don't feel like doing it, I do another workout inside where I can put Lily in her high chair, and that's just it. So you're learning how to maneuver motherhood and fatherhood with this new baby in order to reach your fitness goals. So you have to give yourself grace.
Yes. Yeah, so grace looks totally different. And so the reason why I asked what grace looks like, because I think grace is just being able to say, you know what, sometimes we can be hard on ourselves in a sense where it's almost like we want to punish ourselves for not getting to the goal.
Yeah.
And so if you didn't get, like, you know, the goal that month, it does not mean that you cut off something that's positive for you simply to make you get it, because then you have a negative mindset going towards fitness and wellness. And when wellness as a whole and in a holistic standpoint, it's supposed to be a great and wonderful thing. It's supposed to bring you joy. And so I know that's kind of twisted. That makes sense though. Okay, so okay, next let's transition over to what advice would you have for someone to, like, let's say you were looking back on yourself, like preteen or teenager, high school years, whatever the case may be. What piece of advice, as far as grace and the wellness journey that you had during that time, would you give to that version of you? Like, if you could tell her what to expect and what you've learned up to now, what piece of advice would you give to her as far as like how to handle her wellness journey with grace?
What would you say?
For me, okay, so I was a wrestler. When I first started wrestling, I was in, middle school. Wrestled for, quite some time. I loved it. I started wrestling, I was probably 181 pounds. And so, so I was already a chunkier kid, and so, but wrestling, you started, before you know it, it was like a year and some time later, we were able to cut weight and lose weight, because it's all about cutting weight. Essentially, what I would have told my high school self, definitely, because this is where I wasn't with my original coach, and unfortunately we weren't told a lot about what to expect as far as high school nutrition. So to make weight, I was doing whatever I needed to do. I would eat an apple and come home, drink some water, call it a day. I remember eating a salad, just like a lettuce-filled salad, not with a bunch of nutrients, and because you don't know, so you get the little salad from school. You remember?
Oh, wow.
With the lettuce.
That's basically water.
And you would drink some water, and you would go to wrestling practice later on that day, and you would probably have one cookie so that you can have some type of energy. And I didn't know that, but I knew that if I had a cookie before, sometime before practice, I would. But it was so unhealthy, and it gave a total unhealthy vibe. There's a way that I could have fueled my body so much better to perform it even better than I was.
Right.
And I was doing great, so I can only imagine what,
you would have done before.
So if I could go back in time and give that Stephen advice, it would definitely be, find something like, continue wrestling, to continue to find different styles of fitness that you enjoy, and continue to embrace a healthy nutrition, nutritional experience versus just cutting weight mindset.
Right. Yeah.
Because once I gained weight, it was like,
yeah.
What do I do?
Right.
Do I just need to start back running and eating apples again?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I agree. I would tell myself that don't give up. 80% of it is nutrition. It's not that you're missing out on your exercise. You're doing great. Keep going. When I was younger, I was in martial arts, so I worked out at least
second degree black belt.
I worked out at least 3 times a week, and I used to sweat, and I would not lose any weight. I also did not like to drink water.
Let me ask you this though. Like, now that you think about that, did you used to weigh yourself weekly? Like at the same time?
Yeah, so I didn't really keep a scale in our house until I was probably like in high school. But like my weigh-ins would be like my annual doctor's visit.
And so guys, a lot can happen in a year.
Right, but I wasn't losing any weight.
Well, I mean, like in that time, like you can't say for sure like you didn't lose any weight.
I wasn't okay. So here's the thing. I was getting to the point. So this is me being completely transparent. When I was doing Taekwondo, we had uniform sizes, and I had gotten to the point where I had pretty much maxed out of the sizes that they had. Like the next, like my pants were like pants for like a man, like a 300-pound man, because they needed to be loose because you had to be able to kick, but I had thick thighs, so I had maxed out of that. So because my uniforms kept having to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and so I knew that I wasn't losing any weight, because when I came back to try my uniform on, I think I had went off to school and came back, my uniform was significantly bigger. Even like my belt, like I had maxed the amount of room that I could put my belt around. So yeah, I would tell myself 80% of your weight loss is going to come from your nutrition. If you make small changes now, eat your vegetables, cut back on all those sweets, drink water, cut the soda and the juice out completely because you don't need it. Those are things that we drink right now. You will lose weight. The weight would have came off as soon as I went off to college, and like I made up my mind that I was gonna do X, Y, and Z. The weight just came off super, super easy. So I would tell myself that don't give up, because I honestly didn't see any hope. I thought that my suit was my fat suit, and I felt like, and I had gotten to a point where I felt like this was going to be the body that I'm going to be in for the rest of my life. And, that's not me, fat shaming or saying anything about that. I know a lot of people don't like the word fat, but for me, I felt like I was destined. My destiny was to be a big girl, and I was going to be that big girl for my whole life, and not in a healthy way. I was not a healthy big girl. Like, I was pre-diabetic, used to have chest palpitations, like all of that. So there's a difference, but yeah, that's what I would tell myself.
Wow. That is, thank you for being transparent. And I know that it's not easy, and I hope that you guys can take from that just the idea that, that level of grace that you have to have for yourself, and just know, like, and you're gonna hear me say grace until it's like over communicated to you.
Right.
However, because I think we need it in a surplus, just to know, like, okay, oh man, I just didn't get it, but okay, reevaluate and go back forward. And so I think just one key thing that you said was when you said you felt your suit actually made you feel like you were in a fat suit, like this was your fat suit. I can only imagine what your mindset shift became for martial arts. Mm-hmm. Like, I imagine there was a point in time, and you correct me if I'm wrong, where you just really loved it, but then every time you had to, as time progressed, every time you went back, you were reminded I can barely fit this.
Yeah, because it was like I started when I was 6. So as a 6-year-old, I didn't struggle with that. But as I started to get older and everything started to get tighter, and I literally felt like a little Hulk just busting out of everything. Like, it wasn't enjoyable. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable doing the sport that they want to do. Like, and it's clear. Like, I can barely kick my leg up, not because I can't, because these pants are so tight.
So yeah, so guys, this is, I hope that you take from that story and just what we're talking about in the second point. Just know that grace, there isn't a limit to how much you can give yourself. Just know that the idea for something that makes you happy, when it starts seeming like something negative is happening towards something that you love, our hope is that you can find some way to push through, in a way to actually change some things that make you feel like you're still enjoying the things that you love.
Yeah.
And, you know, okay. Okay. So, the third point, which I feel is very important, because during your wellness journey, you're going to notice that it's not just you, and it's not just about just your coach, but also about family members and your accountability partners and everything, and having grace for your family during this transition. Because just because you're in the readiness, so through training we learned that there's levels to readiness, and it's more based on psychology. However, just because you're on the readiness scale where you're ready to hop right into a new lifestyle and actually make it a habit, you have to have grace that your family isn't there. Grace and acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Family isn't quite there yet. Yes, it may feel like they're not supporting you. And during that time, you have the opportunity to embrace folks that are living the lifestyle that you want to live, that continue to hold you accountable. At the same time, have the grace for your family to be the example, because you may be the only example of someone living a well, holistic life where it's healthy. And that gives them the opportunity to say, oh, hey, and then it's like, oh, well, let me introduce you to this community that I'm a part of. And so I've had to personally find grace for family members who aren't necessarily, sometimes aren't, in my opinion, taking care of themselves the best I feel they could be. And instead of yelling and instead of fussing and things of that sense and trying to shove it down their throat, it's more like, let me just continue to be the example, and prayerfully they'll come around and say, you know what?
Right.
What's that about?
And I think, I don't know who said this, but you have to understand that they only know the unhealthy version of you.
Right. That's key.
So my alarm's going off.
Oh.
You just said I had a hole in my pants, so I have to wear this thing. It's not like a big hole.
No, if you actually want to, this is just a sidebar. Go ahead and start. Let's start IG Live, and we're letting IG Live jump in, guys. And so add the title. Yeah, and then just hit that down at the bottom. Yep. So we're letting them hop in on the fun. However, they're going to have to come to YouTube to see the full video and see everything that we're talking about. Our Instagram family, hello.
Hey y'all.
Hey. So I'm not even going to edit this out, but we're just going to continue.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. We've had.
I ran this morning.
That was like 6.
Yeah, I've been up since 6.
So you ran this
No,
morning?
I've been up since 5.
So you ran this morning?
Yeah.
You came back, you did some errands and got some stuff done. You started Lily's first birthday is coming up.
She's turning 1.
So it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
We have a 1-year-old. So
we had a drive-through baby shower.
Drive-through baby shower. That was awesome.
Yeah. Then we went to the location that we're gonna have a little get together for Lily at. And it's just been a long day, so I'm a little bit tired, and I'm drinking some mommy juice, so I'm just a little bit tired, but such is life.
So just to recap, we're talking about grace. We've talked about just having what does grace look like.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about so for one, it was like, what does grace look like? 2, like how would you explain grace, having grace during your wellness journey to your past self or self, like, you know, a preteen, teen self.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one is just having grace towards family and those who aren't necessarily on the journey
with you,
because sometimes it can feel almost as if they're trying to block you.
Yeah.
But like you said, how did you say this is the
so
only...
someone said, I don't know who said this, but you have to understand that a lot of times when you're on your weight loss journey and you don't have family members who are supportive the way you would want them to be supportive, is because they only know the unhealthy version of you. And maybe even they know you as a yo-yo dieter, so they're not taking you seriously. You may genuinely be serious this time around, like this is it, this is the time. But they only know you as the person who is always trying to lose weight, or the person who has always been in this, you know, quote unquote fat suit for their entire life. So that was like a huge thing for me also, in giving them grace to understand that they don't know the conversations that you had with God. They don't know the prayers that you prayed. They don't know that you finally got to the point where you have said, enough is enough. Like, this is what I'm going to do. And for that, like, you have to allow them grace for that.
So the hope is that you take from this is not to beat up on those that have always loved you.
Mm-hmm.
It's simply just that. So I see it a lot with clients sometimes where one spouse is ready.
That's a hard one.
And it's a tough one.
That's
but let's talk about navigating that, because one spouse is like, "Oh, I'm ready to live a healthy life." The other spouse is like, "Screw this. I'm trying to eat everything bad that I can find."
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's a tough one. But this is where finding your why,
mm-hmm.
while still allowing grace to be
mm-hmm.
something that's out there, is so vital.
You have to be okay with your spouse not wanting to be on the journey.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be okay with your spouse not being on the same page with you, because you never know, you just never know what may come out of you taking the lead. 1,
mm-hmm.
2, if you constantly waiting on your spouse, you're going to end up sabotaging your own progression and your own motivation.
And again, you have to, if you're the example,
right?
It may be the spark that lights.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
He or she's losing weight. Let me get on that.
And what I have learned, and this could go for either one, I was having this conversation, and for me, I can speak off of us. I enjoy running in this season. I really, really enjoy running. I've always enjoyed running. Even when I don't like it, I still like it. Steven, he will say, like, I do not like to run, but I'm constantly trying to take him on a run with me, or I'm constantly trying to make him do some form of cardio that he doesn't want to do.
So let's explain that. So, you have me up here looking like, oh man, he don't want to do.
Babe, you don't like to do cardio.
No, so my style of cardio is more HIIT cardio. I enjoy high intensity interval training. I also enjoy like things where it's like an AMRAP type vibe.
And I absolutely hate those workouts.
And she on the other hand, like, I don't want to do anything like that. And so I enjoy
all right. Disclaimer. All right. Okay, I'm not saying that you don't. Okay, but I'm not. Okay.
So it's not that I won't go on a run. It's just that if I have to choose between the two, that's not my first pick.
Okay. So now that we got that out the way, what I was saying is, me constantly trying to convince him to come on, go on this run with me. Come on, do this workout with me. Come on, let's do this. It was starting to dim my light. Like, because ultimately it's not your job to motivate someone by dragging them along with you. That's not your job. That is between them, God, and their journey. And as long as you're trying to like pull them along, drag them along with you, it's always gonna feel like something is leaving you.
Well, it's probably feeling like a burden for you because you're trying to drag, but it's also feeling like something that it's almost like a negative connotation towards it because it's like, man, this is the only thing she wants to do.
Exactly.
And so that's why your wellness journey is your wellness journey. It's specific to you and your goals. We've had to have the look inside and say, what can we do long term each?
Exactly.
And you know, like for example, some folks love water fitness. That's not something that I've quite dabbled in much, or you have much. But that's their journey, and so if you try to come take me swimming all the time, I'm like, nah.
I don't really want to do that.
But you see what I'm saying? So, or there's some folks that love to dance all the time. It's definitely not me. But you know, we found something different that we both kind of enjoy, which is a step. Doing like a, you know, she likes the it's a consistent.
Enjoy it?
I enjoy it. I get my heart rate up, and then you know, there's like intervals into it, and guys, I don't just like interval cardio, but I like doing stuff that's different. And I like being good at something.
Yeah.
Running is a challenge for me. So it's just like, I'm okay. But I like to spend my time in stuff that I can be a beast in, and just like,
yeah, he is like that.
Even
with step, like I feel like if
you saw it improve, right?
No, I said you did.
Oh, okay.
Like you should just go ahead and.
I don't know about that, but get certified. I don't know about that, but
you should.
I like my goal is like every time, and I think that day I was just like, okay, you missed that step.
Like he was doing the turn step knee, and I was like, okay, man. So it's something that we do, and it's different. It's a different pace from hit 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Like it's a different pace from that. So
keep it fresh.
Yeah, keep it fresh. Find something that you guys both enjoy. Maybe it's just walking. But if y'all both don't enjoy it, try not to drag the other person to do it. But
while still having grace.
Yeah, while still having grace.
So, guys, the 3 things that we talked about: grace on your wellness journey. If you're joining in from IG, make sure that you come over, subscribe to our YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube.
We're almost at 100 subscribers.
That
may not seem like a lot to some of you,
it's a big
but
deal.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So subscribe and share so we can get to 100 subscribers.
Yes. And if you're on YouTube, make sure if you're not following us, hop on over to the IG. We show some things, some photos and things like that you'll be able to get some great content of. KB_wellness on IG. For YouTube, it is KB_fitness or kbfitness. I'm sorry. kbfitness. You'll find our logo, same logo, and you know, we have videos up there. We have workouts, we have videos like this. So yeah, show us some love.
And I want to shout out my favorite thing is my shirt before we end the video. Is this time for this?
I mean, you can. We got about a few. Like, can you do it in like 30 seconds or something?
I'm gonna put her link down because I forgot, and my camera's being used. But it says.
Being a mom is dope.
Being a mom is dope, and I love it.
So, do you know her IG handle?
I'll put it.
We'll put IG.
I'll add it. We'll add it to the atmosphere in this video.
Boom. It'll be just right there.
But this is handwritten.
This is her handwritten.
She does handwritten things.
So yeah, I think it's dope. I think it's a cool shirt. You probably want to hit the camera.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I was pointing at. You were closer to it, so I'm like, oh man. And it's okay if it's about to cool it and everything.
Oh, that's Brown Cow! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, bro!
Woo!
Just had the big 3-0.
Dirty 30!
This year is going to be a big year, an amazing year for you.
It's going to be an amazing year. But yeah, it's a handwritten, she does handwritten shirts. She makes her own like handwritten signs and things like that you can get. And she prints it on a t-shirt. And this...
So we'll drop the link.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely go support. And follow her IG page, and we'll make sure that you guys get that. We love supporting great entrepreneurs who are just pushing like we are. Again, guys, make sure that you, if you're on YouTube, that you subscribe, hit that notification bell, like and share the video with family. Overall, just to summarize, make sure that you have grace for yourself.
Have grace for yourself.
Make sure that you, let's change the second one because we're communicating to the past. But make sure, have grace for your past. The things that you've overcame and things in that sense. Yeah. And 3, make sure that you have grace for your loved ones during your wellness journey. It's super important. And remember, you are entitled to live the best life possible. You deserve that. So our prayer is that you overcome whatever roadblocks are in your way, that you feel encouragement from this video, that you find motivation and you find your why and your reason to keep pushing forward. Not only do you deserve the best life, but it's going to take some work and you're going to have to earn it. So it's yours if you want it. Don't stop, keep pushing, but at the same time have grace during this marathon.
Absolutely.
As always, guys, we love you.
Love you.
And we'll see you soon. All right,
Bye.
peace.